not contact. You'll see the skaters try to go up and down the line trying to get past the blockers. Among Us will be the first jammer for the Quicksilvers. And Steely Gray for the World.
Take over for a little bit. Among Us in the back of the pack. And Steely Gray picking up lead for the World.
Another 4-point pass there.
You know, the funny thing is, maybe that one is I don't know.
I don't know.
Because this one's green. But I mean, they should be the same color.
Among Us still looking to get that initial pass through there.
Steely Gray with lead in the back of that pack. Going back and forth on the inside and outside lines with a strong wall from the Jets and Bombers.
Level 1 is really kind of an endurance and footwork. It's where you learn to move your feet side to side and do some of the basic roller derby moves on skates, including the Smarty Shuffle, which is kind of like flowing back and forth. Eventually there'll be a way in which you can get between two of the blockers, or not.
And they call off the jam. With 4 points for the World.
Now we have a level 2 jam this time with Hex wearing the star for the World.
And Big Mace with the star for the Jets and Bombers.
So you can actually go in and push into the walls. You just can't hit them while you're skating. You
Make contact and then hit. Looks like a timeout, or maybe not.
No.
There's a timeout. False start. Row. A little bit of confusion there with a false start. A timeout happened, but they continued the jam.
So as we're alternating level 1s and level 2s, when a level 1 goes into the penalty box, they get replaced by a level 2 player in the penalty box. So
that makes sense. No? Incorrect?
Okay, the other way around.
Clear the
it's
box.
Cleared immediately, pardon me. Yeah, it's at level 2. Nope, cleared immediately. Gotcha.
We don't want to be spreading false information. Big Mace lined up for the Jets and Bombers on that outside line. Big Mace on that outside line and took the inside, getting lead jam.
It's great because Big Mace made a move
for the Jets and Bombers.
Made
That's
a
incredible.
great move before they could create that wall. He got around it, so he was
takes the inside. Big Mace with those incredible moves on the inside line. Already coming in for their second pass. Second scoring pass on the outside.
Hex now in for the first scoring pass for the world.
Now this is some incredible skating. Going in on that inside line. Breaks up that pack.
And both
And
jammers.
another. We're already at a 12-point jam for the Jets and Bombers. Followed close behind by Hex. These blockers have a little bit of a height advantage, but that is no match for Big Mace, who makes it through the pack again and scores 16 points altogether. We're not surprised.
Yeah, they really do have to watch out for the contact, and that's a big. Level 2, you're still not allowed to zip into the backs of people.
Big Mace going into that pack one more time. And we're not surprised. We're already at a 24-point jam, which is incredibly impressive. Going in on that apex.
It is a power jam, by the way, too, with Hex being in the penalty box. Big Mace did go into the back that time, too. So
Big Mace. Looks like the jam was called off because both jammers were in the penalty box, and because this was level 2, I believe they will restart with the level 1s. We got Jane Doe with the star for the Jets and Bombers.
And a Mango Loco for the world. Untouchables.
With the whistle, they are off.
Oh,
Back
great.
and forth on that line.
It's a nice move. Mango and Loco went around the outside and picked up a lead jam for the world.
Jane Doe is being offered some incredible offense by number 2012. The name of the game is footwork. Some incredible offense going on here.
One thing about roller derby is you learn in the early leagues where you have to be in what situation. And right now, the Jets and Bombers are looking to make those walls and stretch them out as far as they can across the track. But Mango Loco keeps finding a spot in between them.
Jane Doe still working on that initial pass in the back of the pack with these strong walls.
Mango Loco going to the inside now. One thing you also learned early in Derby is actually getting called for a penalty. Is now a power jam for Jane Doe.
And they make their initial pass. Coming around the corner, this is a good chance for them to score some points. Going in for that offense. Oh, with a twist. Inside line and scores 4 points for the Jets and Bombers.
The blocker that did break through helped Jane Doe break through for those points. Going to get called for a directional penalty, but it did put 4 points on the board for the Bombers that jam.
And with that jam, the World scores 16 points, and the Jets and Bombers score 4 points.
Back to level 2, we have Noah with a star for the World.
Oh, Echo Base with the star. Sounds like another timeout. And we resume the jam.
So our level 2s once again.
Echo Base is our jammer for the Bombers and Jets.
Did you say R?
What?
Did you say R, jammer?
Oh no. I'm completely neutral.
Yeah, somehow I wore the wrong shirt for being neutral today. Echo Base does pick up lead jam for Jets and Bombers.
They're all our team.
True. Echo looking to put some points up, puts 4 on the pass. Noah make the initial pass, now is back to the line. Oh no, Kitty giving a lane for Noah to go by and picking up 4 points for the World.
Echo Base going to that offense on the outside.
Oh, nice move from the zigging from the outside line to the inside. Noah picks up 4 points on that pass.
Echo Base still has lead, scores another 4 points. Both teams have 8 points.
Noah hit that invisible trip line that's out there. You may not have seen that. Still picking up points, going by everybody. Another 4 points for Noah and the World.
And Echo Base as well scores another 4 points. This is a very close jam.
They're not worrying about calling it off. They're just going to keep going. You see, they're trying to hit the brakes before they hit the wall, and that sometimes is harder than anything else.
True. Echo Base working their way through that really tough pack that is recycling, meaning they reform. And they make it out of the pack. Score 16 points in total.
Noah putting another 4 points up on the board, too. We've dueling 16-point jams from each side.
44-40. This is a very close game.
Unlike the level 3 game we saw earlier, you really have to hit the brakes before you come to the wall. You cannot go into them. And so they're hitting the brakes a little bit early before they hit that wall. And
We got Scary Garcia jamming for the Bombers and Jets.
Ruby Shard for the World. This is level 1.
Scary Garcia outside on the line, but breaks into the middle. Pushing on that floor wall. Still working on that initial pass.
Ruby Shard with the initial pass. And now the scoring pass. Ruby Shard getting called for illegal contact, going to the penalty box. Is now a power jam for Scary Garcia.
And Scary Garcia breaks out of the pack. Powerful strides. The agility and balance of these skaters is incredible. Scary Garcia with a penalty goes to the box.
4 more on the board for Ruby Shard.
With almost 30 seconds left on the clock, we have half this jam left.
Now Ruby Shard getting called for a penalty. We'll do the switcheroo. Yeah, maybe.
Right now there are no jammers on the track. This would be a great time for the blockers to do some offense or defense. Back to level 2, or is this level 1? This is level 2.
Level 2. We have level 2 this jam.
We have Big Mace jamming for the Bombers and Jets.
Jinx for the world.
And with the whistle, they're off.
Big Mace hitting the wall, but Jinx makes the break to the inside and picks up lead jam for the world.
Big Mace back in the box with a penalty, meaning it is a power jam for Jinx.
Great. Jinx runs into a wall and absorbs that hit, goes back to the inside and makes 4 points on the first scoring pass.
These blockers are reforming, moving around, and skating fast because of this power jam.
And Jinx still does have lead jam.
Little bit of a tumble, but that's okay. Jinx back out of the pack. And Big Mace also on a scoring pass, I think.
Oh, he went to the penalty box before he made the initial pass. So
the initial. So this is his scoring pass.
Yeah.
Scores 4 points.
Both jammers picking up 4 on those passes.
Big Mace coming in with so much speed into the pack.
Jinx making a break around the outside, picking up another 4. Big Mace going down through the inside. Big Mace gets that speed going and dips down, and it almost turns invisible as coming up to the pack. Big Mace using a balance there after taking a shot and being pushed to the inside. And the jam was called off.
The score is 55 Jets and Bombers, 64 World and Untouchables. It's a close game, meaning things will get interesting.
We're at level 1, and we've got Gwen with a star for the world.
We got Venom Bite for the Bombers. Got a little bit of a pack up to the pivot line with some old school derby.
There we go.
Usually the pack sits back on the jammer line. Venom Bite going back and forth on this strong 4 wall. Still on that initial pass.
Yeah. Gwen looking to go back and forth as well, going from the outside to the middle, back to the outside, thinking that there may be a crack in the defense. Goes to the inside and finds a way through that wall of white, but gets called.
Venom Bite on that inside line and lands it with a little jump.
Gwen with lead jam now coming up scoring pass.
Venom Bite now also coming up on this scoring pass. Gained some speed up on that first turn, going into the apex.
World jammer Gwen going to the penalty box. It is now a power jam for Venom Bites, and we will go the full 2 minutes.
Venom Bite following this pack quite closely on the outside line. And gains speed and makes it out of the pack. Venom Bite with 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. Coming around that corner, Venom Bite with speed on that 4th turn. And a low plow stop, which is a very good thing to know in this level of derby. With a bean dip on the outside.
So low that nobody could see Venom Bites going by, but we lost Binksy on the last pass, and we have a penalty. So there's only 3 defenders back there now for the world.
The height helps with those bean dips. Oh, little bit of a fall. An impressive jam from Venom Bite.
Fireflyer with a star for the world this jam. This is a level 1 jam.
And Echo Base is our jammer for the Jets.
Actually, this is level 2 jam, pardon me.
Oh, it is level 2.
Level 2. So yeah, if they're on the bottom half of the page, it's 2, and if they're top half, 1. I'll remember that one of these times. Echo Base just squeezing through the line.
Almost instantly. Echo Base coming back up to the pack, gaining speed, and the outside line takes that outside line and is clean out of that pack, scoring 4 points for your Jets and Bombers.
Fireflyer from the world getting called for a track cut. It is now a power jam for Echo Base.
Going for that inside line, looking for those holes, and squeezes through just barely. There they go. Echo Base scoring 8 points in total for the Jets and Bombers.
There you go.
Going in again yet on that inside line with that offense with another pass.
Coaches are trying to get the world to fill up that track. Fill that whole track out there. Go right across it.
Looks like the opposing jammer is back on the track. It is no longer a power jam.
And picks
Echo
up
Base.
picks up a real quick 4 points on the Fireflyer.
And Echo Base took the inside corner once again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I wonder if we'll see another inside line cut.
Oh no.
Oh, on the outside.
Fireflyer getting called for a track cut.
And Echo Base calls off the jam. A 20-point jam at that.
So we're back to, level 1 here. Level 1, we have jamming for the world. Level 1 is Hazard McGrath.
And we got your dad for the Bombers and Jets. Your dad slowly creeps up into the back of the pack. Looking on that inside line.
Hazard McGrath getting the lead jam on that first.
Your dad is seemingly taking a crouch position to wiggle their way maybe through the legs of these blockers.
And Hazard McGrath went to the penalty box.
Technique we've never seen before. On that outside line, your dad creeps up. The pack is a-movin'.
Hazard McGrath back on the track. Did make the initial pass. Can score on this first pass.
And Hazard gets their initial. Your dad's still working on their initial pass in the back of the pack.
And with that second scoring pass for Hazard McGrath, the lead has changed from now World Untouchables are up by 1, 84-83 with 8:27 left in the first half.
Your dad follows closely behind in the back of the pack, still working on initial.
Keeps shifting back and forth across the path, and the time does run out on the clock, and the 2-minute jam is up. We'll have a level 2 jam next.
All right.
Kira with a star for the world.
I'm already losing track. Is this level 2 or level 1?
This is level 2.
This is level 2.
Big Mace is out there again with a star.
Oh, he's taking that outside on that jam line. Seems he has an advantage. Going into that crazy pack.
And Keurig kind of lets Big Mace step in front, and Big Mace goes from the inside back to 1 to beat, and finally breaks free and picks up lead jam for the Bombers.
Followed closely behind by Kira on their initial pass. Big Mace enters the pack for their scoring pass. Hit out on that inside line.
Big Mace just got called for a penalty. It is now a power jam for the World in Kira.
And Kira breaks out of the pack and scores 4 points for the World. Sometimes our skaters must be reminded it is a power jam.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're actually miming climbing up a ladder. It means a power jam.
Looks like Kira also got a penalty, but Big Mace is back like a cannonball. Enters that pack. On the inside of that apex, gets knocked out, but goes to the outside line and inside with beautiful, beautiful moves. Big Mace coming around for a third pass. Some good juking. Oh, and he re-enters through the back. Cleanly exits the pack. Scores another 4 points for the Bombers and Jets.
Kira back on the track now, still able to score on passes. Picked up 4 points as soon as coming back to the track.
Big Mace weaves on the outside line with a beautiful 12-point jam for the Jets and Bombers.
And we have a timeout for the Bombers and Jets.
Have about 5 minutes left in this half of the game.
I knew. I know. Your dad. His fault. Your dad is following. Yeah. It's such a good Gotta use that too.
All right, and we'll get back into it.
Back to the action, and it looks like we are going to have level 1 this time with level 1 skaters. I've got Binksy with the star for the world.
And the Puppy Heart for the Bombers and Jets.
Isn't that such a great name, Puppy Heart?
The Puppy Heart. Oh, and they're going now.
Yeah.
The Puppy Heart going back and forth on that line.
You see them moving their feet side to side, trying to fill in the space, not allowing Puppy Heart to get through whatsoever. Now Binksy is in there, and it looks like Binksy's hitting the line as well.
Yeah, the trick there is to look for those seams, those open gaps in between the blockers.
And you maybe juke them by like pretending to go one direction and immediately go back the other way. Illegal contact for the World Jammer Binksy. Now it is a power jam for Puppy Heart.
Hopefully we'll see some offense.
Yeah, maybe
Get it moving.
some of the line of the Bombers and Jets there can move up and get in the way of the World Untouchables. Right there, perfect. Oh, almost had like the end around crease there and just didn't happen. Oh.
The Puppy Heart coming up on that pack.
It's like Venom taking control of the line there, saying, let's get behind us. We will get you through.
Going on that middle. Another penalty for Binksy.
A 0-0 jam. Level 2s are coming out now. The coordinator with the star for the world.
And Echo Base for the Bombers and Jets. Should say the Jets since it's the level 2.
Jets, yeah, the Jets.
Oh, nice footwork from Echo Base.
Just disappeared into that wall for a second.
Breaking up into that wall, yeah. And Echo Base with lead.
Coordinator does make the initial pass through as well. We are down to under 3 minutes left in the first half.
On that inside line, Echo Base just makes it through and avoids the hit. Coming up for their second scoring pass, Echo Base breaks out of the pack.
Coordinator getting sent to the penalty box, so coordinator is now a power jam for Echo Base.
Echo Base breaks out of the pack. Scores another 4 points for the Jets. On that outside line, Echo Base with that footwork. Coming in but gets knocked out. Or Echo Base got a penalty? Echo Base got a penalty.
So we will go the full 2 minutes. We have another 30 seconds left. Coordinator does have a power jam right now.
And despite this being level 2, they're getting a little pushy.
Very tight game so far. Only 7-point difference, and the Jets Bombers did take the lead this jam so far too as well.
With a minute left in this half.
Four points on the board for the world. It's 107-104, 42 seconds left. We will have time for one more jam this first half.
We got number 410 jamming Wolf for the Bombers.
And we have Mango Loco. This is level 1
I want to.
for the World Untouchables. Mango Loco looking to make some way pass. Taking a step through the line and does pick up lead jam for the World Untouchables.
Wolf working close behind on that jam line, working on their initial pass.
Oh.
Takes a knee but gets back up on that inside line.
Mango Loco picked the inside line, and the Jets the Bombers didn't have enough time to get resituated down the line. 4 points go on the board for the World. Unnecessary contact being called against Mango Loco after getting 4 points. We are in jam time, so the first half clock is done. We will go until the jam ends, and now that Mango Loco is in the penalty box, we do not have a lead jammer, so we will go the full 2 minutes.
Wolf works back and forth, trying to get through that pack. Hopefully their team gives offense. On that outside line, Wolf comes up. Almost makes it through.
Mango Loco back on the track. Another 30 seconds left in this first half.
It is still going.
Unnecessary contact against Mango Loco going back to the penalty box. Once again, it's a power jam for Wolf.
And with that, the first half of our game is done.
And now in the last 2 jams, we saw the lead change for both teams. The World now is up by 108 to 107. The Queen declares, let them have halftime, and they will.
This is a very close game.
Yeah, it's a very close game. We will see you in the second half.
Looks like our halftime is up and we're into the second period. It's fine. Gear check. All right, folks, and we are going to move in to the second period of this bout. After a routine gear check, which is mandatory. And here we go into the first jam. With Steely Gray, or maybe not. We have Big Mace jamming for the Jets and Bombers. And Noah jamming for the World. Now this is a level 2 jam to start us off. Nate coming into that back end of the pack. Big Mace breaks out of the pack for their initial pass. Noah just getting out of the pack. And Big Mace squeezing through on that outside line. Nate coming in onto the inside, scoring 4 points for the World. Off the strong start, and Big Mace skates close behind. Both of these jammers are already on their initial, or they finished their initial. Big Mace scores 8 points for the Jets and Bombers. Noah coming up. Big Mace with lead coming in. And an incredible jump from Big Mace. Coming in on that outside corner, Noah. Swooping into the pack. Followed closely behind by Big Mace. Nate exits the pack, scoring another 4 points. These jammers are neck and neck. It is 16 to 16 points being taken by both of these jammers. Big Mace breaks out of the pack. Noah is recycled into the pack. This is a close game. Big Mace on that outside line breaks up and sweeps around with 20 points for both teams. $22 points for the Jets and Bombers, 20 points for the World. All right, for level 1, we have Steely Gray. Steely Gray comes out with lead jammer, and Skeletor is still working on their initial pass. Steely Gray working in the back of that pack, looking on the outside line. Skeletor working close to that pivot line on that first turn. On that outside line and breaks through the pack on their initial pass. Coming up now, Steely Gray can score points. Or Skeletor? It's Skeletor. Skeletor works through that pack. And Steely Gray makes it through for their initial pass. It is both 0 points to 0 points, so it is any jammer's call as to who scores points. Skeletor working on that outside line, moving into the inside. For level 1, moving back and forth using the Smarty Shuffle is what's important. On the outside line and breaks through for the pack, scoring 4 points. Followed closely behind. And Steely calls off the jam. Both teams scoring 4 points. All right, we have Echo Bass jamming for the Bombers and Jets, and Hex jamming for the World. Going into this level 2. Echo Bass taking that outside line. This pack is fierce. Echo Bass on that inside line for their initial pass and gets lead. It is a power jam, although Vex just got out of the penalty box. And Hex breaks out of that pack for their initial. It seems as though Echo Bass has gotten a penalty and goes to the box. It is a power jam for Hex. On that outside line, Hex gets knocked out and is recycled back into the pack. On that outside line, neck and neck with the Jets, and they get out, scoring another 4 points for the World. Hex in the back of that pack, working on the inside line, and Echo Base re-enters the track. Hex on the outside line, scoring another 4 points for the world. Echo Base closely behind. The pack is moving fast as Echo Base goes into the inside line, scoring 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. These jammers are putting in the hard work. Hex with a cut goes to the penalty box, and this jam is a wrap. 8 points for the world, and 6 points for the Jets and Bombers. We go back into the level 1 segment with number 5555 Among Us jamming. And we have a timeout, or an official timeout.
Wow. You.
All right, we have number 5555 Among Us jamming for the Bombers and Jets, and we have Gwen, number 4, jamming for the world. This jam will start very soon. Going into it, Gwen takes the inside line, Among Us takes the outside. It is only a matter of which jammer gets out first. And Among Us gets out of the pack for lead. Gwen with a penalty to the penalty box, meaning it is a power jam for Among Us. Going on that outside line, Among Us falls down, but gets right back up and is recycled back into the pack. Among Us sweeps in the outside, scoring 4 points for your Jets and Bombers. Among Us comes around to score some points into that pack. A little bit of a tumble, but it's okay. Among Us picks up a penalty, heads to the box, as Gwen moves back and forth from the outside to the inside line. Gwen on that outside line breaks out of the pack. Gwen comes up on that scoring pass. There's a little bit of a confusion. Seems as though both jammers are in the box, so it is only a matter of time as Among Us re-enters the pack on that outside line. Avoids a hit. And with that, the jam is over. With 8 points for your Jets and Bombers and 0 points for World. Back into level 2, we have Big Mace jamming for the Jets and Bombers. And we have Hell No Kitty jamming for the World. Back on this line, these jammers are looking quite ready. Big Mace on the outside, sweeping into the middle with that line work. Hell No Kitty follows close behind, working on that initial pass. Hit out on that outside line. Hell No Kitty is pulled back. Big Mace taking a big sweep and outside. For that initial pass, Big Mace has lead. Big Mace on that inside line breaks through, scoring 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. And coming around the corner, Big Mace takes the middle or the outside. Hell No Kitty comes in into the apex, and it's jammer on jammer. Big Mace comes around the corner with Hell No Kitty close behind, and in no time at all, Big Mace makes another lap, earning 12 points for the Jets and Bombers. Big Mace coming up on that outside, breaking in through the middle. Still working through and makes it out. With a 16-point jam for your Jets and Bombers. Hell No Kitty still working on that inside for the initial. Big Mace has almost no trouble. Big fall, but back up again. And breaks out of the pack like it's just a walk in the park. That, folks, is a 20-point jam for the Jets and Bombers, and 5 points for the World and Untouchables. Going into this next jam, we have Scary Garcia for our Jets and Bombers. And Hazard McGrath for the World. Scary Garcia takes that inside line and breaks out of the pack, followed closely by Hazard McGrath. Now with lead, Scary Garcia has the ability to call off the jam. Hazard McGrath gets in front of Scary Garcia, re-enters the pack. Hazard McGrath scores 4 points. Scary works into the outside. Hazard sweeps around the inside and outside, avoiding the blockers, scoring another 4 points for the World. Scary Garcia, I believe, is in the penalty box, meaning this is a power jam for Hazard McGrath. Hazard lapping another 4 points for the World. And around this four wall, Hazard McGrath comes out. And Scary Garcia, out of the box, re-enters, working on that initial pass. Hazard McGrath getting it out of bounds, going to the box. Scary Garcia, this is a power jam for Scary Garcia. Carefully on that inside line, Scary Garcia takes it and cleanly is out of the pack. With powerful strides, the jam is over. With 4 points for your Jets and Bombers and 12 points for the World. An incredible jam. We have Echo Bass jamming now for the Jets and Bombers. And Jinx jamming for the World. On that line, this is anybody's jam. That's also something you could say basically anytime. Echo base on that outside line with some serious toe stop work going in on that inside. Juking around. And Jinx scores lead for the world. Coming around that corner. Echo base breaks on that inside line for their initial pass. And Jinx comes into the pack to score some points. Jinx breaks out of the pack, scores 4 points for the world as Echo base comes up to the pack. On that inside line. A little bit of a collision there on the apex and is drawn back. But Jinx breaks out, scores another 4 points for world. Followed by Echo base. Jinx now has the ability to call off the jam whenever they wish, and does so now. Scoring a good 8 points for the world and 4 points for Jets. Our score now is 174 Jets, 165 world. We have Venom Bite jamming now for the Jets and Bombers, and Ruby Shard jamming for the world. With the whistle, they are off, and closely they decide which hole to go to. On that inside line, Ruby Shard breaks out of the pack. As Venom Bite still works on the initial, Ruby Shard comes around the corner to score some points for the world. Making with that 1 foot move out of the pack. It seems as though Ruby Shard got a penalty and is headed to the box. So this is a power jam for Venom Bite. Venom Bite has a very good advantage here. They can bean dip. They can go down low. Working on that four wall. This power jam with a big fall from Venom Bite. And they break out of the pack on that inside apex. Venom Bite gets a track cut and heads to the box as Ruby Shard jams for the world. Ruby working out on that wall, on that outside line, and makes it through the pack. Ruby Shard coming across turn 4. Ruby again takes that outside just as they did earlier and scores 4 more points for the world. Venom Bite re-enters the pack and is moving on the inside line. With that, the world scores 8 more points and the Jets scored 0. Oh, 12 more points for the world, actually. Official review. During this official review, I'd like to thank you all for coming out here for this incredible derby game. 2 games. You want to burp in the microphone? I don't know if the world consents to that. You got it coming? That was charming. If you have a better one?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Lies. No, you don't. Goodness gracious. These junior skaters. Such tomfoolery. With great power comes great responsibility. The microphone is a great responsibility. One must earn the microphone. That was not a real burp. Once again, we still have the merch table. It is well known, but just another shout out to the merch table. We have trading cards. That's new and exciting. And they're only $3. All right, and with that, the official review is over, and we resume the game. We have Big Mace jamming for the Jets and Bombers. And quickly re-entering, Fireflyer jamming for the World. Now for this level 2 jam. Big Mace on that outside line, moves into the pack, and with a little bit of a tumble, gets back up and scores lead. Or doesn't score lead, is lead. Fireflyer still working on that initial pass on that inside line. Big Mace with a giant outside pass. Big Mace going into that inside line and takes the outside, scoring a total of 8 points for your Jets and Bombers. Fireflyer comes out of the penalty box, but Big Mace still with lead, scores another 12 points in total. Fireflyer back out of the penalty box as Big Mace goes into the penalty box. A little bit of a jammer switch. Fireflyer gets knocked out on that line and is pulled back into the pack, but is ready to score some more points on that inside line. Firefighter back in that pack, going into the inside line on that apex for their initial pass. It is now a power jam, or never mind, it's not a power jam anymore. because Big Mace is out of the penalty box and is close behind Fireflyer. With that, the jam is off. With 12 more points for the Jets and Bombers. We have Jane Doe jamming for our Jets and Bombers. And Binksy jamming for the World. Binksy taking that inside line. Breaks through. And has the ability to continue skating. And there we go. The World now has lead this jam. Jane Doe working on that inside, going back and forth as Banksy scores 4 points for the World. Followed closely behind by Jane Doe taking that initial pass. These jammers are neck and neck in the back of the pack. Binksy still has lead and has the ability to score some points and call it off if they do so wish. But takes the outside and calls it off with 4 points for the World, 0 points for Jets and Bombers. We have Echo Bass jamming for the Jets and Bombers. And Kira jamming for the World. Echo Bass sweeping on the outside for the initial pass and gets lead for the Jets and Bombers. Kira still working on that initial pass, gets knocked out on the inside of the apex and is swept back. Echo Bass for their first scoring pass. Racking up 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. Kira is in the box, Kira is in the box, so this is a power jam for Echo Bass. Echo Bass gets out of the pack, scoring another 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. And Kira is out of the box. Echo Bass pushing, and gets out of the pack. Scoring another 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. Kira breaking out of that pack for their initial pass. And Echo Bass on that outside line, hugging that outside line, scoring another 4 points for the Jets and Bombers. This is an incredible jam from Echo Bass. Truly, so much resilience. On that inside line, coming in, sweeping into the out, going back into the middle and out of the pack with another 4 points. With that, the jam is over, and the Jets and Bombers have scored 16 points, and the World have scored 0. Moving in, we are going back into level 1. We have Dark Lightning jamming for the Jets and Bombers. There's a timeout. And Mango Loco jamming for the world once this timeout is done. This is a very close game, folks. Both of these teams are at very similar levels. The score right now is 206 for Jets and Bombers and 191 for the world. There's 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock for the game, meaning there should be about 2 or 3 more jams, give or take. It all depends. And with that, we resume back into the game. Mango Loco is jamming for the world. And Dark Lightning is jamming for the Jets and Bombers. With that, we go off, and Mango Loco takes the outside line as Dark Lightning is on the outside, working onto that wall. Mango Loco breaks out of the pack, scores lead for the world. Coming around that corner, Mango Loco going onto the outside line, creeping up with that footwork and breaks out of the pack, scoring 4 points for the world. Mango Loco coming back in again for their second scoring pass. Will they take that outside line? We may never know, and they did! They took that outside line and scored yet another 4 points for the world. Dark Lightning still working on that initial pass. Mango Loco, as per usual, on the outside line. Shuffling back and forth and steps through on that outside line. Mango Loco seems to have a very, very specific and recognizable style of jamming this outside line. Dark Lightning stays behind in the pack as Mango Loco takes the inside apex, scoring 16 points total for the world. As Mango Loco creeps up, it is whether or not they take the outside or inside, and it is the outside this time as they score 20 total points. Mango Loco steps over, scores 24 points total. And with that, the jam is over with 20 points total for the world. Going into this level 2 jam next. There's a timeout happening. Yeah. It's an official timeout. called an official review. Going into this official review, I'd like to remind all of our viewers and family members and friends to get real loud since we only have 1 minute and 39 seconds left in the game. We are closing into the end of this game, so I want you all to get very loud and very rowdy for the team of your choice. Cheer on your favorite skater. Scream if you have to. With this official review, I'd like to remind the viewers of our score. For Jets and Bombers, we are at 206, and for the world, we are at 211. A close game this is. I'd say I'm at the edge of my seat wanting to know who will win, but I'm not even in a seat right now. Into this official review is still going on. Careful not to fall over. We only have a 3-point difference. Seems as though this official review is almost over. Hopefully, we'll be able to play very soon. Thank you all for being so very patient. We have Echo Base jamming for the Jets and the coordinator jamming for the World. And with that, we are back into the game with 1:34 seconds left on the clock. The score is 206 to 209. It is anybody's game as the coordinator scores lead, followed close by Echo Base out of the pack. It is anybody's game, folks, as Echo Base follows behind with some jammer-on-jammer action into that apex. Onto the outside line, Echo Base scores out of the pack for their initial pull, or not their initial, they score 4. It is now 4 points, 4 points. The coordinator still has lead. On that outside, I want you guys to get loud! Echo Base is out of the pack, as is the coordinator, with 4 more points. The jam is called up. Both teams have scored 8 points. The score is 214 to 217, with 35 seconds left on the clock for the game. It is anybody's game. There's a timeout. I want you guys to get loud. We got 30 seconds left in this game. Last jam. We have Ruby Shard jamming for the World and your dad jamming for the Jets and Bombers. Who will it be? Who will it be? Your dad takes the inside line. Ruby Shard on the outside. These jammers look competitive. On that outside line. Ruby Shard goes in on the inside. Back and forth. Looks like a false start. Team timeout because of a false start, I believe. Never mind. And with that, we start. Your dad on the inside line. Ruby Shard taking that on that outside, back and forth, juking around. This footwork is incredible. Ruby Shard moving around the pack. It is only a matter of which line they take. The bench yelling back at the team to go to the pack. We have 1:22 seconds left in this jam. Ruby Shard scores lead. Ruby Shard has lead and only needs to get out of the pack. This is riveting. Or maybe not. This jam is anybody's call. Your dad creeps up in the back corner. It is only a matter of which jammer gets out first. Both still working on their initial pass with the score 214 to 217. We have 27 seconds left in this game, folks. I want to hear you get loud. Cheer for your team. Cheer for your loved ones. Cheer for your jammer. With 10 seconds left on the clock. 10 seconds, 6, 5 seconds left. And with that, I have your game. The unofficial score is 214 Jets and Bombers, 217 the World. Thank you, folks. This has been an incredible game. Now we will wait to see what the official score is, and we will do MVPs.
Should be.
All right, after a very exciting game, our officials have just called it off. Final score, 214 Jets and Bombers, 217 for the Untouchables in the World. Congratulations, both teams, for an amazing, super close game.